Dear students, let us go to study about the type study of the annelida. So last time we have discussed that what is the annelida. Annelida is actually these are the annelida. Remember that annelida. So the phylum annelida usually, and it is made by the Greek term. You can say the body is made up of large number of these segments. They piled one upon the other just like, and it shows just like a ring-like structure. So that is called the ring or the annular ring-like structure. Their body is elongated, worm-like, annular ring-like structure, and these are part of the annelidans. So in which annelida, phylum annelida, and you have got the type study. What is the type study? Type study means a specific type of the animal you have to study under this phylum. Type study means a specific type of animal you have to study under that phylum, and in that phylum we have what means you have got study of the leech, you can say. The study of leech. So you might be knowing that what is the leech. It is commonly known as the, in Kannada you can say that is the umbra or the jigane anta heltare, just like you remember that. And what is its systematic position? Systematic position, you remember. Systematic position. So last time we have studied that. What is the systematic position? Systematic position means the animal which belongs to which phylum, class, family, subfamily, order, suborder, like that way. So these are called the systematic. As you have told, last time we have discussed that a particular type of the animal or a specific type of the animal or a person, you can say. How do we make out that? He belongs to like that way different village, or you can say the taluka place, and then the state, or you can say the country, like that way. You have to go through that, then we are able to make out if you go ascending line or the descending line, whatever it may be. So here they call the systematic position. Position means where does it live, or in which category, in which status, means place where it is able to see, you can say. So that was the systematic position. So here the systematic position of this leech. Systematic position of this leech is belongs to, you can say, phylum. Which is the phylum here? Phylum Annelida. Phylum Annelida. Phylum Annelida. Then you can say that is the after phylum. It comes under the invertebrates. Most of there are the 9 phylums, as you know that, and in which there is the Annelida is also one of the phylum, and this is the phylum Annelida. And the class you can say. So here. And we have studied what are the different classes of the annelidans. Annelida. Different classes of the annelidans of the annelida. So here there are the different class, and in which you can see that is the Hirudinea class. Hirudinea. Hirudinea. What is the class Hirudinea? So actually what happens, as I told, this is the ring-like structure made by the segments, and body is elongated, worm-like structure, and that is the annelida. And what is the Hirudinea? Actually the term hirudine, actually this is the enzyme. This is the anticoagulating enzyme. Anticoagulating means when it makes the, or you can say it sucks the blood, and blood is not able to coagulate at all. So anticoagulating substance, that is called the hirudine, that is called the anticoagulating substance present in its saliva or some type of the glands, you can say, and that when it gets the host, immediately that pours. And so what happens, you may remember here, suppose here there is a wound is happened, after some time bleeding you are able to see, and after some time there is a layer will be formed here, and this is called as the clotting, and this wound will be stop bleeding, that stop bleeding to some extent. Here we have got the coagulating substance, and if the anticoagulating substance, it is not able to stop bleeding at all, continuous itself. Later we can discuss how that sucks or how does it work. Hirudinea, that is the class, because of due to presence of that is the anticoagulating substance in these animals. Remember, class. The next we can say that what is that next? Order. This order actually belongs to the Gnatobdelida. What does it mean by Gnatobdelida? Gnatobdelida means, knowing that again the term gnatho means jaw. jaw. The animals which have shows presence of jaw in the higher forms, what happens? Actually, the higher forms comes under the gnathostomata. Most of the higher forms, vertebrates come under that gnathostomata. Gnatho means actually the jaw. Here what happens? Though they are the invertebrates, they are able to show some type of the jaw-like structure. And such jaw-like structure are able to see in this Hirudinea class, and so that is called the Gnathoblida, means jaw is number. Gnatho means jaw with lips, or can say with you can say like this here. It is like this one. And these are the tri-jaw. Tri means actually most of the animals are having the like this here. This is the upper is always this is fixed, and the lower one is movable, articulated like this way here. You can say articulated like this way. But here what happens? Such type of the articulation is not at all here, because there is no vertebrate or the bone structures here, only muscles. And that is modified into a jaw-like structure, and that is a triradiate like this. Tri. So order. Then what is the genus here? The leech. Genus, you know very well that is. Genus, it is the taxonomic proof, you can say, the taxonomic state, and that is able to make out some, depends upon that, different characters, you can say. So that is the genus. Last time I had given that. The genus here you can say, that is called the Hirudinea. Genus is called the Hirudinea. Here. Hirudinea. Hirudinea. Means the hybrid belongs to this one, Hirudinea. So that is called the Hirudinea. And the species, here you can say, species, short form I will read. So you might be knowing that genus is always starts with capital term. That indicates that there is the generic name. Genus means that is called the generic name, starts with the capital word. And the species indicates that specific name. This is called the specific name that indicates, and that will starts with a small word. So Hirudinea granulosa, that is the Hirudinea granulosa. So this is called the Hirudinea granulosa, and it has to be starts with the small. Species starts with Hirudinea granulosa. So that is the species name. Means Hirudinea granulosa. That will be starts with the small word. And if it is typing, then it should be italic word. And when you are not able to write, when you are writing, you have to underline this. But these are not necessary to underline these terms. But these generic as well the specific name should be underlined. Like this is the, it should be underlined. Then you can say that the specific name of the species name. So here, the Hirudinea granulosa, there are roundabout there are, you can see, roundabout there are the more than 300 species are there in Hirudinea. There are more than 300 species. And you have got Hirudinea granulosa is called the Indian leech. It is also called the Indian leech. Or this is also called the cattle leech. Indian leech or the cattle leech means little bit big size. And there are some other type of the leeches are there, and actually there is the terrestrial type. You can say terrestrial type of the leeches. Actually later we can discuss. So here you remember the Hirudinea granulosa. This is also called the Indian species. Hirudinea granulosa is the Indian species or the Indian leech. It is also called the cattle leech. So this is called the systematic position. Systematic position means where it lives, means in the animal kingdom. You know very well. The animal kingdom divided into two. One is the invertebrate and the vertebrate or the non-chordate, chordate. But this comes under the kingdom Animalia. Animalia, non-chordate division, and in which the phylum Annelida, class Hirudinea, order Gnathoblida. Gnatho means indicates that the jaw. The term itself indicates that the jaw. And the genus Hirudinea, due to presence of that the substance, you can see the anticoagulating substance Hirudin, and the species means granulosa. There is a large number of round about 300 species are there. So this is called the systematic position. This is called the systematic position. And let us go to the habit and habitat. What is its habit and habitat? You know very well, you have studied that. What is the habit? Habit means what type of the climatic condition, and habitat means climatic condition of the space, and the habit means what type of the mode of living life, you can say, what type of the living style, you can say, style of the animal, living style of the animal. So there was a habit and habitat. Habit and habitat. So leech. So as I told, the Indian leech, it is also called the Hirudinea granulosa. Remember, granulosa. This is the Indian leech, Hirudinea granulosa. And what is the habit of the habitat? So as I told that the Indian leech or the cattle leech. So this is a little bit big. Actually, this is the freshwater. Most of the freshwater forms, you know very well. Aquatic, we can say, but it is the aquatic, in which there are the two types again. Freshwater form. Yeah, freshwater form. They are able to see. Freshwater means, you remember here, the freshwater means pools, ponds, streams, lakes, or where the water is there stored during the rainy season. And there what happens? The pools, ponds, streams, lakes, that we are able to see. So these are the freshwater forms. And here some of them are terrestrial also. Some of them are terrestrial. Terrestrial forms. Terrestrial means, you know very well, land living. Most of the during the rainy season you are able to see that. This is the species of the typical type of the terrestrial form. Terrestrial form. When if you enter during the rainy season, entered in the jungle, and there you are able to see small. This is actually the Indian cattle is big size. That is the cattle size. But here what happens? Small. That is called the umbra. You might be knowing that. Supposed to be, if you enter without our knowledge, and they will be attacked in the just barefoot, or you can say without any shoes or something else. If you enter in the jungle and in the crevices of these the fingers, the toes, or you can say, there they will be catch. And so what happens when, suppose you can say like this here. So, and here they attack, and by means of this, the trident jaw, they make the wound. And so what happens? They pour that the anticoagulant substance, and from this it sucks the blood. So as a result of this, or I can say by means of this, due to these characters, so these are the, as I told, they are the terrestrial. And so the habit or the style, what is the nature of lifestyle, or I can say lifestyle, how they live. So actually what happens here, they are parasitic. They are the parasitic. You know very well, what is the parasitic? Parasitic means they require host. That depends upon the other type of the animals. Either it may be ecto, endo, temporary, or permanent, like that way. Then again there are different types. Ecto, endo, if it is the endo, again there are the temporary or the parasitic, like this, temporary. So like this, different types, you remember. Parasitic means depends upon the other, for the sake of the shelter as well, the food you can set. So that is the parasitic. And this is the ectoparasite. This is the ecto, and the temporary. Temporary means, remember, temporary. It is temporary means to some extent to suck the blood only, to get the food. After getting the food, they will be detached from its host. So that was the temporary. So here you can say, so parasitic. And what type of the parasitic? They are the blood cycle, sanguivorous. Sanguivorous, you can say. What is the sanguivorous? Sanguivorous means blood sucking. Blood sucking animals. So they are also called the scavengers. Supposed to be, if you are having the wounds or something else, and if you entered in the water, and if they are attacked to you, and all the wound will be, what are the debris along with that will be makes clean, you can say, that wound or something is in our body, on our body, and that will makes the clean. So there was sanguivorous, scavengers, and this is sanguivorous means blood sucking. Actually, they depends upon the blood, you can say. Later we can discuss how it sucks the blood, you can say. This is the sanguivorous. And one more you can say, that is the temporarily ectoparasitic, and one more predator also. This is one of the predator. You remember predator. What does it mean, predator? Predator means sometimes these leech, they hunt, catch the prey and then eat. Means hunting, catching, eating. So that's called a predator. A good example I would like to tell you. I would like to tell you one example, that is the hawk. Hawk means, you might be a kite, you can say, better to say that the kite. Kite, it attacks on the birds, small birds or the chicks or something else, or the fish. It attacks, hunts, collects or the captures and takes, and that kills and eats. So that is the one typical type of the example. Even in case of the wildlife animals like the tiger, you can say. Tiger is one of the predator. Means it hunts, kills its prey. So that is the predator, remember. So this is also one of the leech, also one of the predator. Sanguivorous, predator, parasitic. It is ecto as well as the temporary parasitic, remember. And sometimes it shows the behavior like exactly scavengers or the cleaning or the cleaning nature. So then actually what happens, it attacks on the most of the cattle. When the cattle are entered due to water purpose, or you can say to avoid the extreme heat or some hot summer season. So what happens, if the cattle are entered into the water, and that what happens, that attacks on the body, and so it makes the hole like this here, and it sucks the blood. And before sucking, actually what happens, makes the wound, and after making the wound, that pours, or can say puts the anti-coaguling substance, that is the hirudine. And this substance makes, it doesn't allow to coagulate or clotting, you can say. Coagulate is the clotting, and it doesn't stop the bleeding. So the bleeding there will be sucked by means of suckers. And so the body is also adapted for the ectoparasitic, sanguivorous as well as temporary, we can say that the parasitic mode of life, even though it is living in the water. And sometimes if it is living in the land or it is the terrestrial, they are also sanguivorous, and they not only sanguivorous, they feed on the larvae of insects, small, the molluscans, echinoderms, small echinoderms, molluscans means bivalves or some the single univalve animals, and some of the larvae of the insects is the insects. So they depends upon that also. So this is also one of the nature of the feeding, you can say. Better to say that is the feeding. They feeds on some small worms like the molluscans, some the arthropods, the insects, or you can say the larvae and some of the other animals. So that's called the here. And you remember that the body is elongated like this way here. You might be seen that the flattened like this way here, flattened, you might be seen that. If you observe that it shows the two surface, one is the antero-dorsoventrally flattened, we can say. Better say the dorsoventrally flattened. If you can see, this is the ventral side and this is the dorsal side. And it shows the two colors. One is the dorsal side, that is the olive green, you can say. Olive green color, little bit green color. And this is the yellow or the white, you can say. Yellow or white color. So this is the, you can say this is, and having the strips, black strips on either side, lateral. So you can say dorsoventrally flattened. It is the bilateral. Bilateral means two lateral systems. Bilateral means two lateral systems, and it is flattened, ribbon-like structure. Dorsal side, that is the olive green color, and ventral side, there is the yellow or the white structure or the white color, and on lateral side there is strips, black strips, and having the some other type of yellow or little bit the pale yellow color strips towards the ventral side, you can say. So this indicates that the body structure. And here most of the locomotor organs are absent here. You remember, locomotor organs are absent, and the muscles plays an important role to take the locomotion. Locomotion means when it is in the water, the undulating moment of like this way. The body shows that like this way here, and as a result of it takes moment of the locomotion. And actually both sides are having the suckers. One is the tapering anterior, posterior, that is the blunt, and they have got the suckers like this way. They have got the suckers, and with the help of these suckers in the terrestrial form, they are able to show just like a walking. Means like, you can say, if it is the here, you can say this is the like this way here, and by stretching the body, actually it is the longitudinal as well the circular muscles. They are able to expand as the contact, and as a result of contraction and the expansion, they shows the locomotion like this one here. It shows like this one. These are the suckers again. It comes to here like this one. I will explain next time once again while the locomotion, and it shows like this way here. It stretches the body like this way. Again it comes like this way here. So by means like this way it shows the locomotion in the terrestrial forms. In the water, undulating movement by means of the longitudinal, the circular muscles, they shows the movement like this way. So later, just remember habit and habitat means this is the living style, mode of living life, and where it is seen, you can say habitat means it is terrestrial as well the aquatic, and in aquatic we can say freshwater forms. Most of them are streams, ponds, lakes, or where the stagnant water is there, you are able to see the aquatic type, and some of them are terrestrial also. Remember.